Hello there. Welcome to my Polearm only account. Some of you watching this video, maybe all of you, I have no idea, are already kind of familiar with this account. But I recently reached AR55, and this is the day before Genshin Impact 3.1, where 2 new Polearm characters drop. So I figured it would be a good time to showcase what the state of our account is in, considering that this is... I personally would consider AR55 Endgame as Endgame. I can talk. Talking is easy. So anyhow, basically reached AR55. I started this account in, I think, May of this year during the Eternal Ayaka banner phase. And so it's been about 4 to 5 months. I am now AR55, and that's most of that XP has just come from like dailies and things. I've not done many quests, and this quest list isn't even as large as it could be because I haven't even like claimed a lot of story quests I could claim. I haven't opened those, and I haven't started a lot of like, you know, all the quests you see when you walk around in Liyue or whatever. I haven't claimed half of those quests, so I haven't done many quests at all. So I got to AR55 in 4 to 5 months, mostly just doing, you know, the main story quests and then dailies using your resin shenanigans, whatnot. So I didn't really have to try very hard to get to AR55 is what I'm saying. So I figured I'll just go over character builds here, go over like artifacts that I have on the account. Being that I have less characters to utilize, I have spent more time invested in artifacts than I would say you normally would for an account that's younger. So I actually have some decent artifacts, some very good actually. Well, one very good, but anywho, so I'll go over the character builds here quick, and then I'll go over artifacts, and then I'm going to talk about some of my future goals for the account, because now that I've been playing it for a few months, I have pretty concrete plans about like what my goals are really related to Spiral Abyss and what future characters I want. We'll talk about Sino and Candace, yada yada. So if listening to me talk is not your kind of thing, well, I apologize. That's pretty much all this video is going to be. I will demo some combat things. I'll do my dailies and stuff after I'm done talking. But anywho, let's start with Rosaria, the first Polearm character on this account. So Rosaria, I really like Rosaria. She is a flexible... I've been using her basically entirely as physical DPS, so I have her on 4-piece Pale Flame, currently with the white tassel. And overall, I really enjoy Rosaria way more than I thought I would at the start. I can say doing a Polearm only account has definitely given me appreciation for characters that I probably would have never even really used on my other account. So I've greatly enjoyed actually doing this challenge because it's forced me to play in ways that I don't normally play on my main account. And in many ways, I am much more enjoying playing the game and dealing with challenges on this account than I do on my main account. It's an interesting way to have fun with the game when you get bored of certain things, but not that I would recommend making a second account, by the way, because it's a huge time investment, but it has been more enjoyable than I expected it to be. Anyways, as far as Rosaria goes, I've chosen to have her on physical DPS for now, since none of these characters other than Zhao are really on-field DPSs for the most part. Rosaria makes a good on-field physical DPS with her kit design. With Pale Flame, she can easily trigger the 4-piece set of Pale Flame, and she's quite strong, and I'll showcase that a little bit. Talent level 866, nothing too crazy. And the best thing about Rosaria's kit, by the way, ideally want some extra constellations for this in the future, but she can be free support, she can pass along crit rate to her teammates, yada yada. You know, you can do burst support Rosaria, you can do physical Rosaria, you can do cryo damage Rosaria if I want to get Shenhe in the future or whatever, right? So I really like Rosaria. I think she's one of the best designed 4-stars as far as utility and flexibility goes. I found her very fun to play, satisfying. So I give Rosaria like a 9 out of 10. Wasn't planning on making this a review of the Polearm characters, but I guess that's what this is now. Rosaria gets a 9 out of 10. Let's go to... Before I go over the specific stats, I'm just going to talk about the general characters. Other DPS we're using, of course, is Zhao. You know, he's kind of your hyper carry DPS. He does plungy damage. and that's kind of it. He is animo, so he has potential to be used with 4-piece Viridescent in the future. For now, because it was just more resin efficient, I've been farming a lot of Shimenawa's emblem domain. So he is on 2-piece attack, 2-piece attack, 2-piece gladiators, 2-piece Shimenawa. Not his damage maximized build, but it works perfectly fine. It's not worth the resin for me right now, I think, to farm Viridescent, but I could farm Viridescent in particular actually for or his signature set. I could as well, of course, but his signature set is also very niche, so don't want to invest too much in that at this time. May do that in the future though. But yeah, for now, easy option was this. I honestly don't have crazy good artifacts on him. We do have a signature weapon. We did get lucky with that on his banner. We got Zhao early, and then we didn't get the spear early, but we are able to get the spear because we got Zhao early. So we just got lucky all around with getting Zhao. No constellations or anything. 8, 6, 7 talents. I should definitely level this up to 8 sometime soon. I just haven't because I forgot it wasn't even at level 8 until literally this moment. Oops. Yeah, Zhao was the first 5-star limited character I got on my main account actually, and I find his playstyle kind of boring, honestly. He do plenty, and it's got some problems. Of course, we don't have a Bennett to buff Zhao. We do have Zhongli, which is a very good, almost necessary support for Zhao. The moment I switched to this dude, he's like, I must osmant this wine.
Wine tastes the same as I remember. But where are those who share the memory?
Thank you. Anyways, Zhongli works really well with Zhao. I think most people know that, but so it's nice to have that at least. And we've been in the Spiral Abyss. I've been doing Zhongli, Zhao team on one side, and then the other 4 characters on the other side. The Rosaria is a main physical DPS on field, but anywho, he has problems in particular with grouping, of course, because of the fact that he pushes enemies away. Even larger enemies he'll push away when he plunges. So, yada yada. Point is, it's a very samey playstyle. He's a hyper carry DPS playstyle, and I don't really have his ideal supports, on top of the fact that he doesn't really have any supports at all in the first place. So, he's fun. He does good damage. But the main problem with my Zhao right now is energy recharge. I'll go over stats in a second, though. Zhongli, we have him on...
wine tastes the same as I remember.
My dude.
But where are those who share the memory?
We have him on full shield bot build. I would like to switch him to a little bit more damage focused build. I actually just yesterday got a geo damage goblet that so far has rolled pretty well. So I might actually be able to switch him to a geo damage goblet. Hopefully this rolls more into crit. We'll see though. Yoon Jin. So Yoon Jin is probably so far the most useful character. She is for her niche, so for those that aren't aware of how her kit works, she basically just buffs normal attacks, not charge attacks, not charge, nothing other than normal attacks, just, your click, 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 your auto attacks, right? Those are the ones she buffs. And she does a very, very good job at that. I really like Yoon Jin's kit design. And have her on a Favonius Lance as well. I got lucky and I have 2 Favonius Lances in the account. I think I got one of them while wishing for Yoon Jin, and then one of them I risked some wishes on a weapon banner and got lucky and got from a weapon banner that had Favonius Lance on it. So, very glad I have 2 Favonius Lances. Honestly, would like more Favonius Lances for the account though. Zhang Ling is on catch R5 right now. If we have Riding Joke in the future, probably we'll put Zhang Ling back on Dragon's Bane, which makes her stats harder to balance, blah blah blah, but not the end of the world. Since the catch is so good on Raiden, I think it makes more sense in Raiden than Zhang Ling, but it also depends which side, which team is lacking more damage, yada yada. You get the point. So yeah, Zhang Ling is our main, off-field damage dealer. She works well in, Rosaria team. Does a little bit of melt damage right now. But yeah, Yoon Jin, you just stack the defense on her. Iron 2-piece emblem, 2-piece husk. Getting 3-piece husk, 4-piece husk is very annoying, so I haven't really attempted to do that yet. This feather will be on Candace when we get her, so I've been trying to get a replacement feather for her, but that's annoying to do because this feather has 17% crit rate. It's like half of Yoon Jin's crit rate. Kind of annoying. But anyhow, Yeah, Yoon Jin does really good. Yoon Jin is the main character that allows Rosaria's physical damage to be quite good. My Rosaria's auto attacks with Yoon Jin's buff going on the largest hit, the fourth hit, is about 15,000 with the white tassel. So on a crit, of course, which is pretty strong, if I do say so myself. Jungling needs some work. She's the only character I actually haven't done. Actually, no, I forgot about Toma. I'm sorry, I'll talk about Toma in a second. I forgot about him. Jungling, I like jungling. She's good. I don't know what I really need to say much about jungling. I need some work on her. She's got nothing special going on. I haven't gotten very lucky in the emblem domain. That's all I can really say. Toma, he's still level 70. Reason being, I just haven't felt like getting the stupid mushrooms. That's the primary reason. These mushrooms are annoying. They're locked behind Surumi Island and it requires doing the Surumi Island quest, which requires doing Seirai Island quest. And this fire cube is really obnoxious to fight. And Toma's ascension stats are just kind of useless. Obviously his HP is nice for improving his shielding ability, but like attack percent makes no sense on his kit. I've talked about many times on stream how his kit design is garbage and basically requires C2 to make him actually properly usable. And it's a travesty. And why does he ascend on attack percent? Why is all his crap story logged? It's just... And he causes problems with like potential like reaction teams. It's just... He exists, is what I'll say. He creates a shield. And one of the annoying things is like there's no sacrificial polearm, right? So like if Toma had a sacrificial polearm available that could reset his skill usage, I think I would have much less complaints about him. But he doesn't. There's no such weapon in the game. So he's just really clunky to use in my experience. Which is unfortunate. He does offer pyro resonance though with Xiangling and him together. And he offers some form of shielding, which is fairly relevant, even if it's annoying in some cases and clunky to use. So he's still useful to have, but I haven't felt it necessary to level him up past 70 quite yet. But I probably will in the future, just is not my priority. But yeah, that's all the characters we have currently. Thus far, with these characters as they... Oh, I didn't even show the artifact build, so real quick. Artifact stats, overall stats. I'm not going to go show individual artifacts, like every single artifact, but Rosaria is on White Tassel Core, 65 crit rate, 171 crit damage. You can add 12% crit rate here with Rosaria's passive skill, where she gets crit rate when you backstab an enemy with her skill. And importantly, 140 recharge, which is nice. So I keep her burst up pretty consistently. Rosaria is definitely one of our more well-balanced characters on the account. Feather, pretty good. Sorry, that's a flower, not a feather. I can brain. Flower. This is a feather, not a flower. They both start with FL, okay? Forgive me for the Freudian slips. Twice in a row. Like I said, I can definitely brain. Also, pretty good. It's nothing crazy. This is definitely the most copium piece I have in Rosaria, but it gives her a bunch of recharge, so it's not the worst in the world. Definitely not ideal for like damage dealing though. But what can I say? I mean, games like here you go have the double crit defense percent artifact. Here you go have the double crit HP artifact. I mean, like I've gotten double crit attack percent artifacts that just didn't roll for anything. So, you know. Anywho, yep, that's Rosaria. Pretty decent. This is actually probably other than this goblet, which I'll show in a little bit. This is the best goblet I have in the account, so that's something. I got this relatively recently. Didn't roll crazy well or anything, but it rolled okay, and it has, you know, no dead stat other than the like attacks kind of did. But and Circle is quite good as well. Yeah. A little bit of dead rolls in the HP and defense, but oh well. Overall, Rosaria is quite strong for a physical DPS build. I am quite happy with her. Jungling needs some work. 62 crit rate. She gets a little bit extra crit rate from the catch, which is perfectly fine, so I actually should focus a little bit more on crit damage here. Has a little bit more ER than she needs, I think, particularly since I'm normally using her with double pyro in the Abyss. But, anywho, she's okay. She definitely isn't doing any crazy damage, though, and I should definitely ascend her final ascension at least to just get the extra EM and whatever, but I keep forgetting, okay? Yoon Jin, I showed this briefly. Crit rate 40%, 208 recharge, a little bit of crit damage, it's kind of whatever. You know, 2500 defense. She does well. She does what she needs to do. She keeps her burst up with not much issue. When I remove this feather from her, I'm going to need to... I've been trying to get a husk feather to replace this feather so that I can use an offset goblet. I just need something that's okay. I don't need something equivalent in Husk to replace this, but ideally I just want something with crit rate and energy recharge. As long as it rolls like once into each of those, then that's all I need. For reference, this is the I have this, which I would just use this and say, oh well, for the recharge, but it rolled entirely into Elemental Mastery, which is sad. So, yup, thanks game. I do have this one, which is I've been keeping it just if I need to use it, but don't want to. Anywho, yeah, Yoon Jin works well, but Zhongli, not much to talk about. Already showed his artifacts. He's got HP. Maybe I'll get an upgrade for him damage-wise in the future, but he's our most well-balanced character right now, I'd say, with 63 crit rate, 116 crit damage, got reach.
Wine tastes the same as I remember.
Every time, dude.
But where are those who share the memory?
Thanks. Osmanthus wine tastes the same as I remember. Zhao needs some work. 90 crit rate, 148.7 crit damage. You might say, oh, obviously you're using a crit rate circlet. Yep, I definitely am. I would use a crit damage circlet, but this is the best crit damage circlet I have to use with him, because I don't have an onset goblet for him. That wasn't total trash. So, if I put this on him, this is too imbalanced. So it just doesn't work. Like his average damage, you'll see obviously bigger peak damage, but his average damage goes so much down, it's just not worth it at all versus this goblet, or a circlet, sorry. So I use that on him. It works well. He doesn't do any crazy high damage numbers, but he does consistent damage. His biggest problem, I only have 118 recharge on him right now. He needs more. With Zhongli, with Favonius Lance, and that 120 recharge, he does not have enough recharge in the Abyss in many situations. So it's a problem of not having full team members. It's a problem of not having an Animo support to battery him. Yada, 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 yada. Right. Zhao's got problems in a Polearm only account, I can tell you for sure. But he does the most damage, when I'm doing his burst, of course, in the quickest amount of time frame. So there is that. He's definitely our strongest character by that measure, but he struggles with consistency, I would say. The main thing we need to improve on him is like all of his artifacts. His circlet and his flower are pretty good. This piece is kind of meh. This piece kind of also meh, but not the worst thing in the world. This piece kind of meh. He needs improvement. But again, the game has been mean to me. I've gotten just nothing for Shimenawa timepieces other than this. So, I have some weird pieces, but anywho. Yeah. Toma's just on HP build, 2-piece emblem, 2-piece tenacity. So, give him bonus ER, bonus recharge. I've talked about Toma anyways. Potentially could put a Favonius Lance on Toma in the future, but Toma works pretty well using double Pyro in the Abyss. And the Abyss, with these exact characters, exact artifact builds, I have, since we got Zhongli, consistently 27 starred. So, that's 9 starring floors 1 through 3. Wait, 1 through 3. No, 9 through 11. I can count. Counting's easy. So floors 9, 10, and 11, not a problem. At least this Abyss cycle. The previous Abyss cycle, I was able to clear floor 11 before the 3.0 update. But it was not 9-starable because of it was Abyss lectors that we didn't have the elemental application for. So there's some Abyss cycles that might be a struggle to clear floor 11 9-star, but we'll see how that goes in the future. And clearing floor 12, you can see I'm on floor 12 chamber 2 right now. Clearing floor 12 is a difficulty right now because of the energy recharge and specific things about this Abyss cycle. So, I'm not too concerned about trying to clear floor 12 right now, but it's something I have been trying to do fairly regularly on Abyss on stream if you would like to see that kind of thing. I will eventually do edited videos of my attempts at this, but I'll probably wait until I actually have 2 full teams at least, which will hopefully be tomorrow. Well, not tomorrow, I'd have to build them as well, but you get the point. Yeah, other than that, there's not much to say about the existing things on the account. I think I'll go and do the dailies here, whatnot. Expired. Oh no. I'll go do some dailies here. Oh, before I do that though, I do want to briefly discuss Candace and Sino. So Sino is an Polearm user. As an Polearm user, is would be nice to have, right? Obviously, but he seems to have the same problems. He seems to be a hyper carry DPS in the same vein as Zhao. The biggest problem is he's definitely made around obviously the Dendro Electro reaction, and there's no Dendro Polearm character, and we have no way of knowing if there will be, right? And if they will, or even if there is, where it's probably over here, or even if there is when Sino or will have a teammate that I can use, a Polearm Dendro teammate, and even if they will have Dendro application that is good enough to use with Sino, I don't know what's gonna happen. Point is, as it stands, he seems like he'll be really fun. I would like to have him, but I think he'll have some of the same problems of Zhao, if not some worse problems than Zhao. But we'll see. I would certainly like to have him and mess around with him. More importantly, Candace. So if you watch my streams, I am quite excited for Candace. Hydro has high utility for the account. I'm not going to discuss in depth the utility, but it enables a lot of reaction-based things. And more importantly than that, her actual kit, for me, I know some people are like, I don't even know how you'd use her on a team or whatever. Like, where does she slot in? Well, for me, she's like a dream come true because she can turn, I love infusions personally. I like being able to turn other characters into other DPS, elemental types. If I want to turn Sino into Hydro DPS, I can do that with Candace, right? So I really, really, really like Candace's kit design. She seems like she'll be very fun to play. I think she's going to end up being my favorite character in this game, honestly. She's going to be a little bit of a struggle to main DPS, but we're going to try that, and I'll explain that in a second. But anywho, I'll be wishing for these tomorrow. Well, tomorrow for me, probably today for you. I plan to have this out. Both these characters would be nice to have. Definitely want Candace in particular more than Sino. So I have in-depth plans for Candace. I'm not going to go super in-depth here, but Candace I think is far more relevant for my account, at least right now, than Sino. Maybe Sino will have much more relevance in the future, but we shall have to wait and see about that. I actually have pre-farmed artifacts for Candace, and I have this. I plan to main DPS Candace at least initially, but it isn't hard to turn her into. I'm only missing like one decent piece to turn her into a really good support as well, for turning another character into a Hydro DPS. So I do plan to mess around with like turning Zhao into a Hydro DPS, right? But anyways, and part of the reason I'm excited about this is the goblet I mentioned before. I'll show you it in a second. But anyways, I have like very good for main DPS Candace. I actually have very good artifacts. Like nothing like individually crazy other than the goblet. That none of these individually probably blow your mind, but they're all like really well balanced artifacts, and I have no dead stats on many of them. So like this has no dead rolls. Feather, I plan on using this, has one dead roll for main DPS Candace. This is probably the one I will use for now with Candace, because I plan on using Jade Spear in the overworld. I don't know if I'll use her in Abyss or not. It depends how it works out. We'll see. This is a pretty good timepiece. I got very lucky getting this. For some reason, despite my timepiece struggles for every other freaking character on this account, I have, you see, 3 level 20 locked timepieces for Heart of Depth. I got these 3 pieces before I got a single flower I thought was decent. So this game was weird to me with Candace artifacts. But anyways, this piece is okay, but I actually got this piece, which is basically more crit rate focus versus crit damage focus, has some ER and has some attack percent. So it's basically like swap this for ER and swap the crit damage and crit rate rolls around, right? Is this piece. So both of these are options as well for Candace. If I either put her on a support build or whatever. Staff of Homa. But anyways, Goblet. Actually, no, Goblet's last. Circlet. This is what I plan to use in Candace for now. Plan to do attack percent. Again, we're main DPSing her. She has split scaling problems when we're main DPSing. If that is, of course, an issue. That's why I want Staff of Homer for her in the future. But anyhow, this is also a circlet with no dead rolls. crit damage, HP, ER, attack percent. For a main DPS Candace, this has 0 dead rolls. It's very good. Could I have rolled more into crit damage? Sure. Yeah, it would have been better if it did that, but I'm not going to complain about having no dead rolls. That's more important than just being heck bent on getting the highest crit damage possible, in my opinion. Anywho, the Goblet. If you want to... I advise you to close your eyes and skip ahead like 30 seconds if you don't want to see potentially the best goblet you will ever see. I got this very early on in the count. Like, I didn't even record it because I didn't think this would happen, and I didn't even know there was going to be a Hydro Polearm character coming when I rolled for it. I just rolled it because it was a double crit, max crit rate, max crit damage roll, and it had HP percent on it. And it rolled entirely into crit damage, and it entirely high rolled into crit damage. This is a 52 crit value goblet. It's ridiculous. It is almost assuredly the best artifact I will ever see. Maybe the best artifact you will ever see too. Anyhow, yeah, that's all I have to say about that. Let's go do some things. This video is already like 30 minutes long, and I have not even done anything other than talk. My apologies. Didn't expect it to be this long. I'll have to edit out some of my nonsense. Oh, so one of my commissions took me over here. One thing I don't think I mentioned, obviously since this is a Polearm only account, I'm limited in like elemental types I have access to. So there's some overworld challenges, like the fact that I haven't been able to unlock the Dalpa Gorge here. I won't go into detail of those, but most of these things I actually have been able to find workarounds for, and there's some minor ones I haven't been able to find workarounds for. So there are technically bits of like the story that forced me to use travel or whatever, or I got locked in the Zhongli story quest once, then I had to use Electro Traveler to do some Electro Pillars. But other than really specific instances, I have been able to do the entirety of this game with just Polearm characters. Oh, I suppose I should probably show Primo Gem count. Currently we're at 13,200. Most of these will probably be disappearing quite shortly for Sino and Candace. But yeah, that's about, what is that? I don't know what that is. Let's see. No, wrong. This one? Yeah. 82 wishes, plus the 8 we have, plus the Stardust here, so we have like 100 and some wishes already for Sino and Candace. Yay. Okay, so I'm gonna do this, this is the Husk of whatever thingies, Husk of Opulent Dreams, like I was mentioning before. I want to try to get a feather for Miss Yoon Jin here. So we're gonna do 2 runs here. One run I'll show off Rosaria's damage, and then the other one I'll switch to Zhao's damage here. I'm probably not gonna talk much here because I'm gonna focus on actually playing the game, because this is actually a bit of a frustrating domain here. It showcases the weaknesses of Polearms in that we don't have a healer or whatever. Zhongli shield doesn't do much for protecting against corrosion, of course. This domain I would normally do with Zhao, by the way, because his big amounts of damage you can do to all these doggos at once is nice. But as you can see, I think these guys have a little bit of physical resistance. I'm not exactly sure though. But you can see I was hitting 13,000-ish with the 4th hit with Rosaria there. I can definitely hit higher against other enemies. It does just depend on the enemy a little bit. A lot of enemies in this game do have quite a decent bit of physical resistance. I think I have noticed it is probably the resistance that's most common in the game. But for the most part, it's not really a problem in overworld things.
Stabilize. Order guide.
Strike is one, and leap.
I don't know if I used Zhongling's burst once. My bad. I forgot to use Zhongling. Oops. Forgive me. Probably should eat some chicken so I don't die. With annoying domains like this, obviously I can just eat food using the gadget. But outside of domains, well, specifically in Spiral Abyss, if these corrosion doggos show up, it'll be a little frustrating to deal with. But inside the domain here, despite the fact that my characters are on life support because of the corrosion, It's not usually that much of an issue to clear it for farming artifacts. It's just a little annoying. Hopefully I won't have to do this soon, because I got 2 feathers. Come on, game. Just crit rate and ER. Okay, that maybe. It's even got defense percent. This could be the perfect artifact for Yoon Jin. Just needs crit rate. This is another option. Okay. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, just need one of them to roll. Okay. I'm interrupting this broadcast of showcasing damage to bring you the most beautiful, best artifacts you've ever seen in the form of a crit rate, energy recharge, defense percent artifact for Yoon Jin. I have so much faith that I'm throwing away a copium piece for it. Nope. We do like need, as much as I would like to just keep this, we do like need crit rate on it. So I'm not keeping this piece. Unfortunate. This one, even if it doesn't roll ER, I'd be very. I'm willing to roll this one, regardless if it rolls ER or not. But just throw me a bone, game. I've gotten no good artifacts for like a week or two. Just give me ER. Nope. Okay. So I'm going to. Some people might be mad at this. You know what? Close your eyes if you don't want to see this. All I want is defense percent and crit rate rolls, and I'll be happy. Hopefully, particularly crit rate. I mean, I just. Look, game. That's like. This is the one time where the defense percent is actually quite nice, but I really needed the crit rate here. Okay. I don't know what to think of that. I mean, so this is what my experience has been in this account thus far. It mostly just trolls me to daylights and beyond with my artifacts. Like, what one crit rate roll, and I would have been quite happy with this artifact, honestly. And then of course it didn't even like. This is what this game does. It trolls me, and then it doesn't even fully commit to the troll at the end. Like, it could have been like a 30% defense artifact, right? But anyways, let's see what this is if I swap out some things. I have another defense percent. There it is, yeah. So this one with crit rate ER is it's okay. 31 crit rate, a little bit lower ER, and about 150 more defense. I would like to use this feather. It's very good for, like, buffing. Okay. Okay. Well, just... Sure. Leave her on that for now. I'll play around with it. I'm gonna go heal quick, and I'll be back. Alright, it's time for everyone's favorite...
Be dispersed.
Yes, evil shall be dispersed.
I guess the housework can wait.
2 polar opposite characters. It's time for everyone's favorite jumpy boy. He gonna jump? I put Toma there just for pyro resonance. Because Yoon Jin's not exactly doing much for plungy damage. So, you know, may as well have the pyro resonance. Also, none of my characters have bursts. This is not ideal. Oh well.
Don't get too close.
Come on, give me. There we go. Okay, good. And plungy time.
Worthless. Worthless.
As you can see, Jav can clear these guys quite a bit quicker. Rosaria is very single target focused, so it's kind of no surprise, of course.
Order guide you.
Different characters have different strengths, and they work better in some circumstances. Yeah, what a surprise, I know. Yes, Zhao has much higher damage output in one go, but as you can see, you can already see a little bit of consistency problems here. It takes me a second to get the burst back. There we go. Beautiful. Yay, thank you, game. Anywho, so that was the damage showcase. Go heal up Mr. Always on life support here. I don't like using Zhao in the overworld just because since he's relying on his burst damage, it's just kind of annoying to use him in the overworld. But it doesn't really matter. He's still very useful to us in the Abyss in many situations like that domain, as you saw. So, anyhow, yeah, I think that's basically all I have to say about the account. It's progressing pretty nicely. We're at a fairly solid state. I am fairly confident that in the future we'll be able to 36-star Abyss. The goal would be with consistency, of course, but probably a ways off from doing it consistently. But as far as characters we don't have go, of course, Raiden Shogun is useful because it's Raiden Shogun. She's just a really good, really good battery. Switch to Polearm characters. So of course, we want Raiden Shogun. Candace and Sino are coming out, so we'll have 2 more to add to the roster. Hopefully, we'll have both of them. Hu Tao I definitely want because she's, one of the strongest DPSs in the game. Of course, we won't be able to as consistently trigger vaporizes with her because we don't have a Xing Cho to use with her or a Yelan. But I still want her because I think she can still be potentially the strongest DPS on the account. But we'll see what happens. Shenhe is definitely the lowest priority. I really like Shenhe's design. I like her story. But her kit is very niche. She basically, at current time, all she would do is enable a cryo damage focused Rosaria. Which I would be down for having more options, but the priority is definitely Raiden Shogun and Hu Tao, right? So we'll see. But we're getting close to having. Oh, I've committed a sin. You're always supposed to let that play. My bad. The point is, the state of the account is such that having only Polearm characters, I think, can still pretty consistently clear the Abyss. 36 starring even. It's just going to take more investment in artifacts and some more characters options to give us more flexibility for making teams that deal with different situations, right? So, and Candace is an important part of that, giving us Hydro and giving us the ability to do weird things like if I want to turn Zhao into a Hydro DPS. You know what gets rid of Zhao's problem with relying on his burst? If he does normal attack Hydro damage. You'll definitely get to see that soon. I can tell you based on damage calculations and the artifacts I have, I should be able to hit, with Vaporize, I should be able to hit like 40,000 damage-ish, maybe a little bit less than that, on a normal attack with Zhao's auto attacks. So look forward to see me trying to do that. To be clear, that's not going to be necessarily an Abyss viable team, but because Vaporizing with normal attacks can be hard to trigger when you're trying to have Pyro applied first. But anyway, that's we're getting into the nitty-gritty details of how reactions work, and that's not what's important. What's important is I'm saying goodbye. Wave goodbye, Zhao. Actually, no. Say goodbye. You're so much taller. Zhao's a short boy. Did you know? Well, I'll let Mr. Zhongli play us out, and I'll let this go in real time until he says his osmanthus widened is the same as I remember. Then the video ends.
Osmanthus wine tastes the same as I remember. But where are those who share the memory?